Hello everyone and welcome back to another Marvel Champions video. Today is release day for the Ant-Man deck, so picked mine up today. Again, these hero decks go for about $14.99, about $15. So this is again Ant-Man. It includes a 60 card deck, one pre-made deck that's ready to play, 32 new cards that can be added to any deck, and then a Nemesis set featuring Yellow Jacket. There's the back of the package right there. Can't really see it very well. Um, Normally with these, I don't open these before I start sleeving, but I'm going to open this one now just to show you the foldable card for Ant-Man. The Wasp will also have a similar card as well, where they actually have three different modes or forms. So there's Alter Ego form, Hero form, and then a Giant form as well. So let's see what we got here. So here's our deck. I don't know if there's any special instructions in here for how Ant-Man operates. There might be. Let me take a look. After I get done with this brief, little unboxing, I'm going to play a game, and then I'm going to come back and let you know what I thought of the deck. So there's a little poster for Ant-Man. Ant-Man Hero. So we have foldable cards. This is Scott Lang / Ant-Man's identity card is foldable. A three-sided card. One side is his alter ego form. One side is tiny. And on the inside is giant form, changing form with a three-sided card. Follows the standard rules of changing form. You can only change form once per round, basically. I think there are cards in his deck that'll allow you to, will force you to change, so you can change more than once. Team Up, which is a keyword which I don't know if we will use yet because the Wasp isn't out yet. But it says the Team Up keyword names two characters. To include a card with Team Up keyword in your deck, your chosen identity must match one of the named characters. Additionally, a card with the Team Up keyword cannot be played unless both of the named characters, hero or ally, are in play. So I guess like the Team Up card, for example, they do give you a different version of the Wasp, which is an ally card. So Team Up would work, but Team Up would also work if your almost said opponent, your teammate was also playing Wasp and you're playing Ant-Man. I think Team Up was also going to work with the Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver decks too. So there's Team Up, Leadership, and that's basically how does changing between the forms work. It says a Scott Lang Ant-Man can change form from alter ego to either hero form, from either hero form to alter ego form, or from one form to another form. Do the resize event prevent Scott Lang from using his once per round form change? It says, and that's a card that basically it forces you to change form. It says no. If the card ability causes a player to change form, it does not count against the one voluntary change. All right, cool. So basically, you can basically go from Scott Lang to Tiny, do something in Tiny form, but I think there's an ability when he comes into play, he removes threat or something like that, and then you can use that other card to change to Giant form and then use that as well. So let's go ahead and just open this really fast. And I just want to see what the foldable card looks like because I'm really interested to see how this actually works. And then I'm wondering exactly what I'm going to have to do to actually sleeve this card. I'm just going to have to play with it unsleeved, and I'm going to have to basically sleeve it in a normal sleeve and then slide it into a oversized sleeve at some point. Let's see what we have here. So there's Wasp, Giant Stomp. Let's see if I can find. So there's the resize card. So resize hero action change to one of your other hero, or change to your other hero form and then also draw a card. I kind of forgot that it did that too. But there is, if I can get the camera to focus on it, there's resize. Yes, we just get to the hero cards here. Care for Cassie, Yellow Jacket. Alright, so where exactly is the Ant-Man card here? Alright. Giant Stomp, Hive Mind, Resize, Pin Particles, Army of Ants. That's the Ant-Man, that's the Hank Pym version. Moxie. Team building exercise, there's Care for Cassie, Yellow Jacket, some plots. And did they not include Ant-Man in this deck for some reason? Let me just look through here, look backwards through the deck and see if I can find it. And I am not actually seeing my hero card here. see if it's in some other area of the container. I don't think it is. So we have here, so we have the Wasp, we have Giant Stomp, Hive Mind, Resize, Army of Ants. So it looks like this is a leadership deck. First Aid. There's his obligation. You just go through the cards backwards, see if there's one that's double-sided. Yeah, this is weird. I'm not able to find my Ant-Man card. I wonder if there's like a printing error where they didn't include the card. Anyway, I'm going to go look through this further, see if I can find it, see if I can maybe, if I didn't get the card, I'm going to have to get a replacement from Fantasy Flight. But this is really strange. So, I'll be right back. Once I find the card, I'll let you see it. If not, I'll wait until I get the card, and then I'll continue this video once I actually have that card. But we'll be right back regardless. Alright, and we are back. It's a day later. My Ant-Man card was indeed missing, so I took the pack back to my local game store, explained what had happened. They gave me a new pack. I opened it there to make sure Ant-Man was there, and Ant-Man was in the pack. So there is Scott Lang, there is Tiny Ant-Man. I've never had this happen with Marvel Champions. I did have one time, I think, with Star Wars Destiny, where I got like an extra card in a pack. I didn't get to die for it. I got to die for another card. So the die I got was for the card I got, and then there was an extra card, and then a friend of mine, opened a pack that didn't have a card, but it had a die, and luckily those corresponded. But haven't had any issues with this until now. So luckily, my local game store was able to fix the problem. I think they're going to send the pack back to Asmodee and Fantasy Flight, and then they'll probably get credit on it, I imagine. Anyhow, I wanted to show you the Ant-Man card just to kind of show you the mechanics and how it like flips around and stuff like that. So here is Scott Lang. Let me see if I can actually get the card to focus. It's probably not going to focus very well. But that is Scott Lang. On the back side of Scott Lang is Tiny Ant-Man. So there's Tiny Ant-Man. And then the card folds open, just like that. And on the inside is Giant Ant-Man. I'm going to have to figure out a way to actually sleeve this. I wonder if I should use like side-loading perfect fits or something like that to do it. Or just maybe don't sleeve it. I'm probably going to put it in like a normal sleeve. And then when I'm in large Ant-Man form, I just don't sleeve it. I would kind of want a sleeve for it. So maybe I'll just get like an oversized sleeve. And then when it's in either alter ego form or tiny form, just have it be in a regular sleeve. I'm not really sure. But count all the cards, everything's here. I'm going to turn the camera off. I'm going to go and get this deck sleeved up. I'm going to play a game. Probably going to test it against Rhino. That's kind of like my the villain I usually test everything against is Rhino. So I'm going to test it against him. And then I'm going to come back, let you know what I thought of it. Going to kind of break down how the deck works and my opinions on the deck and so on. So we'll be right back. And then I'm going to let you know what I think of the deck. And I'm going to let you know how my game went. We'll see you then. Alright, and we are back after my first game with Ant-Man. I won. Just played standard Rhino. It's a pretty fun deck. My first play, I do like the changing from tiny to giant. There's ways to do that multiple times in the same turn with cards like Resize, Swarm Tactics if you have Wasp in play. And I think the ally version of Wasp counts toward that because of the little rule reference that came with Ant-Man. It said hero or ally in the section talking about the team up cards. So I had Wasp out. I had the suit on her that gives her +2 hit points. So she was able to do quite a bit of thwarting. I even put I think it's like the energy gloves on her. So whenever she attacks or thwarts, she does 1 damage to an enemy. I did that. I then used a Giant Stomp to clear out like a minion and do 8 damage. And I think I flipped back to Scott Lang's alter ego form, or the Scott Lang form, once to heal 3 damage. I guess it heals 4, because if you flip back to Scott Lang, he automatically heals 1. So basically, I ended the game with 12 hit points, and that's what Ant-Man starts at. I did take 8 damage from one attack from Rhino at one point, and then was able to get rid of Breaking and Taken pretty much immediately. So once you defeat Rhino's first stage, you search the villain deck for the Breaking and Taken side scheme. You put it into play, and I think I was in either Giant form or in Alter Ego form when that happened. I think maybe like Wasp or Hank Pym did some damage to defeat that first form. I had Hank Pym out very early because I had like 6 cards in my hand. That's his Ant Man or Scott Lang's hand size. Ant Man's hand size is 5, and then Giant Ant Man's hand size is 4. Um, but I had Hank Pym. It didn't have a whole lot of stuff I could play, so I just discarded 3 cards for Hank Pym. He costs 0, but he comes in with a Pym counter on him for each card or each resource that you spent in addition to his cost, which is nothing. So basically, I discarded 3 cards or spent 3 resources, brought Hank Pym in with 3 Pym counters on him, which essentially makes him have 3 health. And was basically just attacking with him for 2 damage. I was able to get like a total of 6 damage off of him. And then once Rhino was in his second stage, I was able to flip into tiny form, remove 1 threat, and then also just exhaust Ant Man to thwart for 2. So he is definitely very good, like very good at both doing damage and also getting rid of threat, and also he can also do damage in tiny form as well, not as much as in giant form. But if you have the Army of Ants card in play, if you're in tiny form, you basically exhaust it to do a damage. So that was pretty good. I feel like the deck is actually a lot of fun, just basically deciding which form you want to be in and what's going to be more beneficial to the situation. I think I got up to um, 6 points on the main scheme at one point, but then was able to thwart with Wasp, the allied version of Wasp, thwart with Ant Man, and then also do like basically change form again. So there was one time where I was in giant form, I attacked, I then played resize, which lets me go to my other hero form, was able to remove a threat that way. And then swarm tactics is really good because it lets you um, basically switch to your other form and ready the hero. So at one point I had attacked with Ant Man in one turn, played that, flipped over to Tiny Ant Man, thwarted, and then also used Army of Ants to do additional damage. So my thoughts on the deck, it's a lot of fun. I can't wait until the actual Wasp deck comes out. I think that got pushed back. I think pretty much everything else got pushed back. So I think Wasp, the Galaxy's Most Wanted, and the Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch decks have all been delayed a little bit. I think they got pushed back by like a month. I don't think there's anything coming out in December. I think there may have been a January release, but I think that got pushed back. The Galaxy's Most Wanted was supposed to come out in February. It's now coming out in March. So then I imagine in the spring we might see maybe Wasp and then the Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch decks. But my thoughts on the Ant Man deck, it's a lot of fun. If you like the game, of course, you're probably gonna pick it up. But definitely a lot of fun flipping between giant and large or giant form and tiny form, and then kind of maximizing your damage and thwart output based on like what upgrades you have out and stuff like that. I did have the Risk Gauntlets out at one point, and I discarded Strength, which is just 2 physical resources. This Risk Gauntlets will do one of 2 things depending on if you're in Giant or in Tiny form. I was in Giant form, so basically you exhaust Risk Gauntlets, you spend 2 physical resources, and you can stun an enemy. So I had Rhino stunned during one of his encounters where he couldn't attack, which is pretty good. But that's going to do for this video. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Thanks again for watching, and take care.